The Philadelphia Eagles survived the season opener to advance to 1-0, but talk about a wild night. It felt like ages, a lightning delay, an ejection before the game even began. One of your top targets didn't even get a target until the end of the game, and a whole bunch more that we have to get into, as well as Jalen Hurts showing everybody why he can be an MVP. All that and more coming up right here on A to Z Philly, but welcome into the show. At the time of recording this, it is 12:30 in the morning. I am tired, I am gassed, but I am pumped up because somehow, some way, the Eagles are 1-0 and they find a way to win. I want everybody watching and listening right now to let me know down below, is that one of the craziest games that you can remember? How fired up are you after this win? We're going to talk about the good and bad all season right here on A to Z Philly, so make sure you like and sub. But drop those comments, man, because this night started off with just magic and poetry, and it was amazing, you know, like feeling your way into the season and hanging the banner in front of the Cowboys. I thought this game would be close at the beginning and then kind of tail off at the end. But what I didn't expect was to be sitting here feeling like this game took 8.5 hours. Like, to be fair, this is like one of those outlier games because it felt like it had two halves and then another half in the second half. But anyway, this game starts off with the Eagles hanging their 2024 championship banner. Great ceremony. They had Jeff Lurie. BG was out there. Weird not seeing him in the Eagles gear. But once we got into this game, I mean, it was in the trenches, man. The Cowboys put up a good fight. And honestly, this game just had so many twists and turns. But before we jump into it, shout out to Nick Sirianni, who is now 5-0, perfect record in season openers. The Eagles continue to come out and dominate in week one during the Nick Sirianni tenure. Look, odds were on the Eagles' sides, but you know what was not at the Linc? The damn weather. Ladies and gentlemen, in the third quarter, while the game is a 4-point game and both of these offenses are humming and Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts are having, honestly, what felt like a classic game between the two. I mean, they don't really play each other a lot. They'd only played 3 times before this. Now they're 2-2 against each other. But I'll give Dak Prescott credit because he was playing well. Jalen Hurts was playing, in my opinion, even better. And then the game stops. It stops for 45 minutes. So this is going to be remembered as the Thunder game, the Lightning game, the Rain game, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember the last time the Eagles had a damn rain delay. But cycling even back to the beginning, we might remember this as the Spit game, the Spitgate. I don't know. This is one of the craziest starts I've ever seen to a game. You have Ben Van Sumeren, who obviously had a season-ending injury last year. You felt really bad for him. He comes out in the first play, and it looked like he might have torn his knee. You see him mouth the words, "What the bleep?" And it's like, oh, man, Van Sumeren's down already. And then, before the game even begins, the first snap, Jalen Carter gets ejected from the football game. And I'll be completely honest, you know, we got more information later in the game, and you can see here that Dak Prescott actually kind of instigated it. He spit in the direction of Jalen Carter. He spit on the field, and he egged him on. And he did exactly what he intended to do, which was get in Jalen Carter's head. And you know what? Dak Prescott did a great job of that. Now, do I think Dak is a loser for this? And you know, there was no reason to do that, right? You're spitting on the Linc. Like, what's the point of that? You know, play your game. It's not our fault your team stinks and you got to try to get a competitive advantage. But he did it. It was successful. Did he kind of deserve it? Maybe. I don't know. Jalen Carter, though, on the other hand, looking at it from the Eagles' lens, has to be smarter. He has to be mature. I know you're only a few years in the league, but you're a grown man. You're a Super Bowl champion. You're one of the best D tackles in the entire league, maybe the freaking best. And you come into the season opener and you've had a few issues before where you'll get 15-yard unnecessary roughnesses and you know, tough situations. You have to be smarter. And I'm sure Vic Fangio and Nick Sirianni are going to sit him down and say, you do that again, we might have to bench you ourselves for a game. Now they're saying he might get suspended for a game. I don't know. But Jalen Carter cannot get ejected 1 minute into the damn season. We didn't even play a snap yet, and our best defensive player, one of them at least, is not on the field for this entire game. And you could see right from the jump, the Cowboys had game planned for Jalen Carter, and now that he's not there, it changes the whole feel of the game. That cannot happen. Good teams, great teams that have great players don't allow those things to happen. So I'm sorry, as much as I love Jalen Carter and as much of a beast as he is, that cannot happen again. And if it does, then you will be in trouble, and you should be in trouble with this team. That is inexcusable, 100%. You can't let a measly Cowboys team and a guy like Dak Prescott get into your head. Can't happen again. So anyway, that's how the game starts. And then it was just an offensive palooza. Cowboys touchdown, Eagles touchdown, back and forth, back and forth. They scored on the first 8 drives. There were no punts in this game until the second half. And honestly, I think until after the lightning delay, the Eagles had 216 yards of offense, 123 on the ground in the first half. The defense had given up 177 and 93 yards in penalties. And you know what? Let's talk about the refs for one brief moment, because the referees were absolutely abysmal in this game. That's not why the game was the way it was. I think the Eagles could have played better. We'll talk about that here in a second. But for as much crap as the Eagles got, whether it was the Nolan Smith fake tough guy taunting penalty, which was absolute BS. I mean, I know the NFL is getting more strict on this, but this is a game where you're going 100 miles an hour, you're showing emotion, and you're telling me Nolan Smith can't get hyped that he made a great tackle in the backfield? Unbelievable. You had Jalen Hurts get hit out of bounds. You had a couple other plays where guys are getting hit around and nothing. But when it's the Eagles, right, when Reed Blankenship breaks up a throw into the end zone, it's a 15-yarder, and they just continued to call this game one-sided. But here's a play going around where Tyler Guyton literally throws a punch to the head of Jalix Hunt. Nothing is called. He should be suspended for the damn year for something like that. And then you have Nolan Smith here who gets grabbed around the neck. Nothing called. So the referees were absolutely a joke in this game. But back to the football talk. All right. The Eagles went out and they won this football game. Why? Because Jalen Hurts continues to win football games. You can try to paint him in a certain light. You can say he needs to play like this or play like that. Jalen Hurts has now helped the Eagles win 15 straight games where he started and finished the game. Like, that is incredible. He is a winner. And in the first half and leading up to, in my opinion, like the game swinging momentum change with the lightning delay, he looked so calm, cool, and collected. Like he was just in no man's land. He was in open field and nobody was bothering him. Like the way he was reading the field, some of the scrambles he was making, the big time throws, the 51-yard bomb to Jahan Dotson, and he put it right in the breadbasket. Jalen Hurts played a fantastic game. 19 for 23, 214 total yards, 2 total touchdowns, both on the ground. And he made big plays when he had to. Made a couple game-clinching plays in the fourth quarter. I will say that it felt like the whole momentum got sucked out of the offense after the lightning delay. And that goes for Kevin Patullo. In my opinion, this was a great debut for Patullo. After they came back from the delay, the play calling was pretty dry and bland. But before that, like the first 3 drives were 3 touchdowns. The Eagles could not score a touchdown in the first quarter for the first 9 weeks last year. And they come right away with 3 touchdowns. They were getting creative, crosser routes, comebacks, just pitching it to Saquon, letting him run in the open field. Saquon did not have that big breakaway run, but I will credit Matt Eberflus. I thought he did a great job trying to really make Jalen beat him and loading up the box from what I saw so far. Obviously, we'll go back and watch the tape, but Eberflus did a pretty good job containing Saquon. I thought the O-line didn't play really up to par. Landon Dickerson got hurt, a couple injuries in this game. But overall, Jalen made the throws he had to. He stayed poised, and he looked really good in this game overall. And if he keeps playing like this, he will play his way into the MVP convo. A.J. Brown, on the other hand, had nothing until about a minute left in the game. So I do have a gripe with Kevin Patullo there. How do you not scheme A.J. open? This was almost the first game ever where A.J. Brown had 0 targets in a game. That's never happened before. He finally got 1 target and a catch at the end of the game. But you have to get the ball to A.J. I don't care who is going up against him. You have to find your best weapon. A couple other things I want to point out before we get to the biggest point on defense. Saquon Barkley only had 60 yards in this game and a touchdown, but I thought he did a good job of not really getting in his head, taking what the defense gave to him and just, biting away little by little. Will Shipley had a couple nice plays, both on the ground and in the air. Then he got injured, unfortunately. Dallas Goedert, a quiet 7-catch game, very productive. Devonta, 3 catches in this game. Interesting strategy by Vic Fangio not to shadow Quinyon against CeeDee. And ladies and gentlemen, the biggest takeaway from this game and the issue that they have to fix is the cornerback too. All offseason, all training camp, they did not name a starter. Why? Because Vic Fangio had his hands tied behind his back. Adoree Jackson was getting cooked all game long by CeeDee Lamb. First half, Dak had, I think, 127 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 86. Adoree Jackson can't stop a damn nosebleed. No offense. He wasn't supposed to be the guy. The job was Keely Ringo's to lose, and he could not capitalize on the opportunity. Then it went to Adoree Jackson. But in this game, when Jackson got evaluated for a concussion, Jacorian Bennett came in the game, and he looked really good. So I don't know why they went back to Adoree Jackson, but I'll tell you right now, they can't go back to him again. He was giving me flashbacks of some really bad Eagles corners, and this was in one half of the first week. Here's Michael Jacquet. I'm thinking Byron Maxwell. I'm thinking Nnamdi Asomugha and Bradley Fletcher and Byron Maxwell and guys like this. He was absolutely terrible. Adoree Jackson got cooked all day by CeeDee, and I know it's one of the best receivers in the league. And subsequently, CeeDee Lamb had 3 big drops in the fourth quarter to lose the game. I mean, Dak Prescott did enough to win this game, but Adoree Jackson cannot play. Quinyon dropped an interception, had a couple tough plays, a DPI. Jacorian Bennett came in, had a DPI right away. But you could just see the change in athleticism and burst when they brought in Jacorian Bennett. I still think Quinyon should have mirrored and shadowed CeeDee Lamb. He had him on Pickens, did pretty well on him. But the Cowboys really didn't have much. They didn't have a crazy running game tonight. It was just CeeDee Lamb. And I thought Vic Fangio should have made an adjustment quicker. The linebackers were great. The defensive line, they didn't get a lot of pressure, but they started to make plays when they needed to. They flushed Dak out on a big 3rd down late. The Eagles just have to fix this corner issue. I don't think I can watch Adoree Jackson in an Eagles uniform ever again. Really, the game changed as well. The first big play, the turnover, Miles Sanders had a 49-yard run, and then the next play, he fumbles. Then the lightning delay occurred, but that was huge, man. A familiar sight for us Eagle fans watching Sanders fumble inside the 20. Eagles were 8 for 13 on 3rd down, 302 total yards. And overall, just did enough to win. It was not pretty. It did not have to be. Week 1 is always tricky, especially when you're sitting there waiting for 45 minutes during the game. But nonetheless, the Eagles get a W. They find a way to win it. And 1-0 is all that matters. Nick Sirianni remains perfect in season openers. And now they have 11 days of rest. Have to get a few guys healthy. Landon went down in this game, unfortunately. We'll see what the updates are. But give me your thoughts on the Eagles' first game of the season. How do you feel? What changes should they make? Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.